Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful but often overlooked strategy for creating wealth. We're talking about wealth that doesn't just grow, it lasts for generations. So let's just dive right in with the big one, the question that's really at the heart of all long-term investing. Look, it's not just about picking the right stocks or making some savvy trades. That's part of it, sure, but it's about building a structure, something that can stand up to pretty much anything. And the answer, at least according to the material we're looking at today, is a really powerful metaphor. You need to build a financial fortress. Just think about that for a second. We're not talking about a simple portfolio or, a nest egg. We're talking about a fortress, something truly impenetrable. But here's the thing. This fortress, it's not just for defense. Not at all. It's designed to be your shield when markets get crazy, right? But it's also your weapon. It's built to take a hit, to withstand those shocks. And then, and this is the key part, when everyone else is running for the hills, you can go on the offensive. You can seize those once-in-a-decade opportunities.
Okay, so how in the world do you actually build something like this? Well, the secret, it lies in this one core concept, a permanent capital base. Think of this as the bedrock. It's the absolute foundation that the entire fortress is built on.
So what is permanent capital? It's actually pretty simple. It's money with no expiration date. That's it. It can stay invested forever, which frees you up from all that external pressure to sell at exactly the wrong time. And that gives you total control over maybe the single most important variable in all of investing, timing.
Now, this is where people can get it twisted. A lot of folks hear permanent capital and think it means you're forced to hold something forever. No, it's the total opposite. It's about having the option to hold forever. It's about having ultimate flexibility, so your decisions are based on logic, not some arbitrary deadline.
This kind of structure, it gives you a strategic advantage that almost nobody else has. It's called time arbitrage. Sounds fancy, right? But it's a really simple, incredibly powerful idea. It just means you're using a longer time horizon than anyone you're competing against is willing or even able to use. I love how Gautam Bade puts it. Think about it. If you're focused on the next quarter or even the next few years, you are competing against, pretty much everyone, the entire world. But when you can stretch your thinking out to a decade or even longer, you're suddenly playing a completely different game. And guess what? That field is way, way less crowded.
Okay, let's get into the most famous example of this entire strategy in action. I'm talking, of course, about Warren Buffett. We all know he's an investing genius, right? But his real secret weapon, it wasn't just his brain, it was the structure he built.
Early in his career, Buffett ran a pretty standard investment partnership, but he figured out he was trapped. He was constrained by it. So in 1969, he makes this huge pivotal choice. He dissolves the whole thing, gives up a ton of money in fees in the short run, all to get something way more valuable, total control over a permanent investment vehicle. And that vehicle was Berkshire Hathaway.
And this right here, this is the heart of it all. His legendary success, it wasn't just because he's smart. It was enabled by the vehicle he built. That structure was what gave his genius the space it needed to compound, year after year, for decades, with zero interruptions.
Investor Guy Spear just nailed it when he talked about the 2008 financial crisis. Remember that chaos? While every other fund manager was being forced to sell perfectly good companies at fire sale prices just to meet redemptions, what was Buffett doing? He was buying. His permanent capital base meant he could deploy billions of dollars at the absolute most perfect moment. That's not just an advantage, that's a structural superpower.
And look, this whole structure, it isn't just some relic from the past, not at all. It's being used right now as a modern blueprint by really forward-thinking family offices, like Rhea, which is actually one of our main sources for this whole explainer. So their strategy, what they call uninterrupted compounding, it really boils down to three simple but powerful rules. First, you've got to maintain that timing optionality we've been talking about. Second, use zero debt. That completely takes the risk of a forced sale off the table. And third, you don't pay out dividends or allow redemptions. That way the capital base stays intact and just keeps on growing. And the whole goal of a structure like this, it's ambitious, but it's crystal clear. Compound the value of that financial fortress at double-digit rates. Not just for a year, but year after year, generation after generation. And that's the thing, it's only possible because the structure itself is designed for that specific outcome. Okay, so I get it. This is all fascinating stuff for billionaires and massive family offices. But why should this matter to you? How can you actually apply this incredibly powerful idea in your own life? And this right here is probably the single biggest takeaway. You don't need some complex legal entity to get the benefit of this idea. A permanent capital structure can be a mindset. It can be a way you approach a specific part of your own savings and investments.
You can literally create your own version of this. Just designate one specific investment account and call it your fortress account. This is the one you make a pact with yourself to leave untouched. You let it compound for decades. You consciously avoid all those interruptions, pulling money out early, panic selling when the market dips. You just let time, your greatest ally, do its amazing work.
So I want to leave you with this one final thought. Take a really hard, honest look at your own financial life and ask yourself this. What are the interruptions? What are the complexities and the short-term pressures that are holding my capital back from really compounding over the long haul? Because finding the answer to that question, well, that might just be the key to building your own fortress.